Today to the team Lead Yourself, and today we have the team How Do I Organize My Task? And today with me is Andra and Cristina. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
And I am your host, Marius. So thank you for joining us today, right? So let's see. Today the theme is How Do I Organize My Tasks? So why do we need to organize our tasks? Sounds like let's warming up question. Who wants to go? Cristina?
Yeah, let me start. And I'd rather start with what would happen if we don't organize the tasks. And that is chaos. And not doing what you thought you wanted to do. It's not a bad intention. You just end up not doing what you needed to do. So I think the effect of not organizing the task is it's super impactful, and that's why we need to turn the question or the answer around. And it's we need it because we need to do our job. We need to meet objectives. We need to have things done, and
So now that in a way, it's obvious, right? Why we need to organize our tasks, right? Because you pointed out the opposite, right? Chaos is there. Some of us like chaos, some of us don't. So now that we find out this, right? Are there any, like, let's put it like this? We are like now speaking out of personal experience and practices, right? That we found out. And now that I'm thinking, is like when we have a list of tasks, right? Or we have something to achieve, are there any steps that we need to take, or how do we kind of go from chaos to being organized? Let's put it like this. Are there any steps that you usually take on? Let's put it like this.
Okay, I can answer that. Unexpected question.
Unexpected question.
So it's just on the fly. Let's see. So it's chaos. You promised to do a lot of things, and now you're like, what do I do? This is the idea of
yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, it happened yesterday for me when I woke up, and what I did was I said, okay, now 10 minutes. I just need to everything that is in my head, and it's not planned somewhere. I just put it on a paper. Yes. And I said, okay, these are the things that I have in my head that I know I want to do or that I promised to do. And then it takes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I just put them, okay, when do I want to do them? Or when do I need to do them? And I use my calendar. So this is what works for me. Without my calendar in which I have what I do when I do, it's not working. So for me, it takes 10 minutes. What I see is that sometimes I have the urge to take that action in that moment, and I need to stop, because what I do in that moment is just I plan my tasks. Yes, I just put them somewhere, and it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If I just say, I send this message now, I have this urge. It takes only 1 minute. It overlaps with what I do next. So my target for 10 minutes, it's actually take these tasks, put them somewhere. Each we have our own method. For me, it's my calendar. Yes. I put them there. And if I don't do them like this week, or I don't have the time to plan them, I put them where I have my bigger plans. Yes. I put them as an outcome. This is what works for me when I feel that chaos is coming. I have too much to do. And I just stop myself and I say, you don't need to do it now. You don't need to do today. Yes. You just need to plan it, to know that you do it. And then I have the freedom that, okay, that is going to happen. I don't know if I answered exactly your question, but it's around.
So let's see. Thank you for this. So in a way, what you pointed out is planning, right? So in a way, it's like actually looking at what you want to have and then planning the task. How do you do, Cristina? How is for you this? Are you doing also planning, or how does it look for you?
Maybe for me, it's not like take 10 minutes in the morning, but I usually use pen and paper, and I have a list because I have to empty my system of burden and pressure. So whenever I feel under pressure, I take whatever I have in my mind and make a list. And I also find it interesting that after I have the list, I then prioritize it. It's interesting. And usually this list lasts for 1 or 2 days, because at some point some items become obsolete, which means I don't need to do them anymore. But at least I took them out of my system, and I don't get stressed about that because I didn't do it. So usually, yeah, after 2 days, unimportant tasks that just, it's obvious I don't need to do them anymore. Now, if I have to do something urgently, like, and it's interesting, we are different, which lasts 1 minute, then I might do it right on the spot because I just tick it out. So I just answer, or I tell my son, don't forget to do this. So now it's his problem, not mine.
You just want to tick the box. Oh,
yeah,
I
I tick the box.
Yes.
I did it. It's his task now. Okay. But for me, it's I found it a little bit, I mean, not challenging to deal with bigger tasks where I need focus time. So it's not something that I can do between other tasks. And I need to book 1 hour, I need to book maybe 2 hours, or maybe it's something that I cannot do in one stand. And with this, I have to book time in my calendar, and it's not enough for me to book time in my calendar. It's I need to bring extra energy to be able to keep that timeline. I mean, to not find something else more important, which pushes it further. So yeah, and to find that extra energy, I look at my calendar, like today I look for tomorrow, or in the morning I look like at the meetings, and I refill my energy tank. So that, and I say, okay, for that you need to focus more, and for the other, maybe I can do so and so.
So thank you for this. So in a way, what I heard is also, in a way, you make a list of tasks, right? Like you are present to what is to be done. You put them on the paper because this is something that works for you. And then you prioritize them. This is what I get. And prioritization comes out of what you need to be achieved, or what is more urgent, or something like this, right?
Yeah.
And then tasks that take longer time, you schedule them in your calendar, right? This is what you do. How do you estimate the duration, right? Like, how do you to find out, like, this task takes longer, so how long does it take for me to do it? Is like something that you do from experience? You just put some time there, like an hour, like 2 hours, or half an hour? How do you estimate them? How do you make like things like put some time attached to the tasks?
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to answer. I can also answer.
Sorry.
It's okay. I usually work with time boxes because I don't know exactly how much time will take. And I just book a 1 hour slot. I do what I do. If I need more and I have time, I can continue. If not, I plan for another slot. But then I know better how much time I need to finish the task. I don't want to stress myself regarding the duration. I rather work with time box, and I maximize that time, the frame that I have, and after that I continue with more. I'm more aware of the difficulty, of the time that I have left, and I start with a 1 hour slot early so that I have time to come back, something like that.
And it's really good now. So the question is, like, the follow-up question is, like, you have a time box, right? And then the time box exceeds, right? You are at the end of the time box, so 1 hour, you have something else scheduled for the next hour. What do you do? How do you cope with that? Andra, this is also for you a question. Are you doing the same or?
Before I answer the question about time box, there is also a downside. Yeah, is if you work for an hour and you say I will do my best, you might be distracted, and if you do have an outcome for that hour, even though you're not aware, you work more focused. Yeah, if you say, oh, I have it's like you're in a meeting and it will go away, you don't need to be present. Yeah, it will stop in an hour and it's fine. This is the trick with the time box. And I had, for example, in the last weeks, I used time box for a program because I was not clear what I wanted to plan. But then I was not clear what I do in that time box, and mostly I was not doing it. So I was avoiding planning rigorously what I need to do, what are the steps, and then to do them. So I have an outcome for the time box. Yeah. So this is the first, it's better to have an outcome, I would say, even if it's an hour, to know what I do in that hour. Yes. Even if you do it 5 minutes at the beginning of the time box, it's still to know, okay, what do I have at the end of the time box? And then to answer your question, you still want me to answer it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you are asking, okay, the time box is finished and you're in the middle of the things and you're excited. What do you do? Yeah, that is the question.
That is the question.
I think you are interested in the answer for that. Yeah. It's it depends what you have next. Yes. If you it's to make a, you can choose in awareness. I don't say I'm not, usually I stop. I've trained myself to stop when is the time box, because I know I need my breaks. Well, I usually I would say I stay 5 or 10 more minutes because it's a break anyway. Yeah. But then if I don't take the break, it impacts the rest of the day. So I learned to stop. And when I stop, to say, okay, what is left? Is it something left that I wanted to do in this hour and I have not done it? What is that? Yeah, I just identify what is left, and then when do I do it, or what do I do with it? I don't leave it in the air. But usually I do stop, and
you do stop.
Sometimes I take 5 or 10 minutes extra if I don't have anything following. But usually I plan rigorously, and if I start the day and the first time I don't respect it, then the whole day is like with the doctor. If you go over with an appointment, it's like appointments. Then everything will go and you are just surviving the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Andra. What is for you, Cristina? How does it look for you at the end of the time box?
If I don't have another meeting right afterwards, I continue. So if I feel engaged, if I'm excited about the topic, I continue a bit until at least I finish my idea, at least I finish something that leaves my output consistent. And then I replan. So at some point I do stop. If there is another meeting, yeah, I make a full stop and that's it. But I replan to continue. What I find interesting is that even if I don't stop, even if I had to stop, if I am engaged, if I got into, I don't know, being into content writing or whatever I do, and I keep that excitement to continue, and I usually plan it soon because I like to continue with that mood. And next time when I do it, it takes, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes to get back to that level of energy. But I keep the memory of I liked what I was doing, or I don't know, I was productive, or I had the feeling of good, and I try to reconnect to that feeling. And things work. If I leave too much time, I forget about it.
Got it.
Yeah. When there is a creation, you need to allocate more time. Like I was trying to do an hour today, an hour the next day, and it doesn't work because, as you said, until you get into the flow when you are creating, it takes time, and then you get out of the flow. So if it is a task of creation, like allocate if you can a day. It depends on what you do. Yeah,
Yeah, I
So-
can't do a day.
Okay, so this is it's very good, this conversation. What is happening? Because for me, it's like you said it, right? When the creation is going, you are in the mood of continuing, right? On the other hand, you jeopardize whatever comes afterwards, right? So usually, I also tend to. It's a mixture. Sometimes I continue. Sometimes I just put an end. And as Cristina mentioned, it's more like remembering that feeling, and you are excited of going back to that feeling, right? So this is a way to do it. But what happens if things not working? You are doing something for an hour and you are struggling, and it's also difficult to stop when things are not going that well. You are struggling to find the perfect solution or the perfect words or whatever. And usually it's a rabbit hole. You say like, oh, it's only 5 minutes. It's in 5 minutes I will find the right thing.
Yeah.
And then you continue, and then, so what do you?
Yeah, I can answer. The idea is what you are committed to do in that day, and when you planned it, you were actually like a different person who was coming from, what am I committed? Yes, what do I want to do in this day? And then there is the other person that's doing the execution, and it's like revolted against it, even though you planned it. So in that moment, because you're so excited of that specific thing, you forget what you are committed the whole day. You are impacted by emotions, by motivation, by creation, by you're in the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, I leave it all, but it's a reaction to your experience. It's not, you have also other commitments, yeah? For example,
the question is for me, right?
Yeah, it's for you. You also have other commitments, other things that you want to do.
Of course.
But
yeah.
the trick is when actually, if I need to go and pick up my daughter, I do it. I don't have a choice. I need to get, so I stop. But then if you plan to do something, I don't know, another task for work, you can say, it's not important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when you planned, it was important. And in that moment, you forget. And it might go out of existence, the other one, if you don't go back and replan it.
Mm-hmm. And what would be, okay, I got it, right? So you are present to other commitments, but you are in the midst of the fire, right? You are there, you are struggling, or you are creating, right? What is something that you can do to get you out of this hole?
So it's you do it and you fail the first time, to put it like this. You said I will spend an hour, and actually I wanted 2 hours, 3 hours. You learn from it and you say, this time it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I will allocate more time when I do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then is the conversation, I only have 24 hours. Yeah. But that is we want everything now. So it's again planning it. Yes, you learn from it that you need more when you are creating it, and you can
Mm-hmm.
allocate more time. And it's also to allow to not do as if I plan the week, we don't do everything that we plan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do 75%, and this to accept. Yeah. We are not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. We are not machines. Yeah. We do what we can, and then you can just choose, okay, I continue, and then I deal with it. Do it in awareness, but usually in that moment you are not objective. You are the feelings of excitement guide you.
But what I find interesting, if I leave a space, for example, I have 1 hour slot to work and then I don't have anything planned. It's interesting that I don't continue too much in the remaining hour. I mean, my mind seems like it knows that it was 1 hour. So I maybe continue for 15 minutes and then I lose focus.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually, I may leave space, unallocated space for things like, I don't know, talking to somebody or something unplanned to come. But even if I have that excitement and I spill over with my time, I don't work 3 hours in a row. So I stop naturally anyway at some point. And And I think this is
you are already starting the transition.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Cooling down the engines. Yes.
So I find it very, very interesting what you're saying, because also, like, when you are in the midst of fire, and you're creating or dealing with a problem, just taking a break, a 5 minutes break, whatever, or just going get a coffee, or just for a quick walk, gets your head clear, and you start detaching from the task, and this will help you transition to the next phase. So I would assert it's easy to, when we plan, to not plan back-to-back tasks, more or less, to also add breaks. This is what I heard in what you share, because usually this is what we do, right? We put one to two a meeting, 2 to 3 another task, 3 to 4 another task, and so on. So usually there is no window to. It's like in meetings, you need to. You don't put a meeting an hour, and then the next hour you need to move to the next meeting, right? You need like a window, a small window.
Oh yes, you need 10-15 minutes between things.
To transition to the next meeting. Now that we are in a virtual world, seems like possible, right? In 1 second you are in a meeting, in the next one is. But in a physical world, just remember that you need to move from one room to another room. So it's something like this as well, right? So this walking clears the head.
I think you are pointing to, especially when you work on a task, for example, it's a bug or something, and you're frustrated that you don't find the solution or something, and it's hard to disconnect. Yeah. And then you go into the meeting, you still think about it, you still code, you're there and you're not there. Yes. And I don't know if that works for you, it's fine. But usually it's to, as you said, if you take a break, you might see it differently. Yeah. But is that I need to solve it? You don't need to solve it right now. You will solve it. But we are not aware in that moment of that. Yeah.
Thank you. So now that we mentioned meetings, right? So let's imagine we are in a meeting, right? And somebody says something and you say, yes, I will do it. What's next, right? Because usually the meeting ends, you go continue whatever task you are doing. So what happens to the things that you promised during the meeting that you will do? How do you actually do it? So who wants to answer this?
I can go. I usually go into meetings with a pen and paper. If not, I have a notepad, always a blank notepad that is waiting for my promises. So I write them down. If I can, I actually plan the follow-up or the continuation. But if not, I just, after the meeting, I take 5 minutes, even less, and decide review my notes, and then decide what do I do with the ideas. I think this is very powerful. If I miss the 3 minutes after the call to review my notes, it's gone. It's I forget about it.
Got it.
It's I can also say something about that. So there are some meetings in which the idea is at the end of the meeting you have next actions. So whoever is facilitating or is doing, yes or not, it's at the end we review, okay, so these are the actions, who's doing what. Yeah, and it's clear and might be sent to everybody, and then you take the notes from there. But if that is not the case, it's for you to create your own method that works for you, to put them somewhere. When you say I will do that, by when? Yeah, maybe you say, oh, I don't leave it in the air, I will just do that sometime. Yeah, and then make sure you put it into existence somehow, as Cristina said. After the meeting, even if somebody comes to you to talk, you need to make sure that you do that. Yeah, to have your own mechanism in which you make sure that it gets into your calendar or whatever the structure you use.
Got it. And now it's we started the conversation like in the morning, right? Or sometimes when we create the tasks, right? Or we put them in calendar. How do you review them? Or at the end of the day, what is happening, right? Is it something special happening at the end of the week, the day? It's there a process to review and complete whatever you said you will do about the tasks and so on? How do you do it? You do something like this? Andra,
Cristina,
I see
you
that
want to
you're,
answer or okay?
I see
can
you are
answer.
It's
So I've tried many strategies until I found one that works. So it's to try on different strategies to not to lose the stuff that I don't do. Yeah. So one is well, every Friday I create the next week with the actions, and I also review what happened this week. Yeah, what are the things that I have not done? If they are incomplete, yeah, that is a overall week thing. And for the day, I usually review during the day. I would not say at the end of the day. Sometimes during the day, I keep looking at what are the things that I have had to do. Are they complete? Yeah. If something is incomplete, I just look at when do I do it. And I moved. So I take a few minutes during the day, 5 minutes, and I do, okay, this is what I wanted to do, is done, what is not done, when do I do it? I complete it by Friday or not? Yeah. It's
okay.
This is what I do.
Thank you. Cristina, how about you?
I don't look at the end of the day. I have the feeling I know what I did. I don't need to look at my list. And the fact that I look over the list in the morning and then I decide this is scratched, I don't need it anymore, and this is, I add something on top, then this kind of, it's enough for me. And I know people who feel unhappy at the end of the day if they didn't do all the tasks on the list. And I realized I'm good. I mean,
I get it.
Whatever I do, I did it. But
Okay.
if I have some unhappy feeling about it, it's for me a lesson that I need to look better at the list tomorrow. So yeah.
Thank you for this, Cristina. So I have the last question now. It's more like related to, because sometimes we have a lot of tasks to do, right? We put them, we look at them, and when they come, we are like, oh, another task or another one-to-one meeting that I have with this person. It seems like a burden, right? The tasks. So how do you make sure that the tasks are inside of something, inside of a goal of yours? Something that matters to you, right? How do you make sure and you being present to what you are doing with that task, right? Because it's not just a task, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
you are also giving the answer, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's as you said, the task is not just a task because it's nice to do things and we are useful, and there are inside of commitments or bigger goals. And it's just as you said, when you have multiple different goals and in the same day. Yeah, let's say you're a manager, you have a one-on-one, as you said, and then you have your task, you have a manager meeting. Yeah, it's, you can take 1-2 minutes before you have that to look, okay, why am I doing this? Yeah, why? It's because I'm committed that this person grows, because I want to listen to my people, even though in that moment you are focused on something else. Yeah, you can stop and you can say, why do I do this? Well, it's because I must stand for the people to grow. Yeah, and I want to know how they are. And then you get yourself into the moment and you do it. It's mostly what we talk about here. It's the execution of the task, and it's to be present in that moment. You planned it because you're committed to something, you had a goal, so better be present. It works better.
Cristina, how about you? What about you?
Yeah, I think this question for me, it's super, I resonate with it. And it's why do we plan some activities? Because sometimes, for example, let's see where we are. And it might seem like without an objective to have at the end, we just share. And yeah, I'm not sure how many of us are present. I challenge myself. I mean, I find myself at times that I plan meetings just for the sake of being there without actually trying to get something out of it. And yeah, I have the reason, but then when I enter the meeting, then I enter with something like Andra says. I mean, okay, at the end I need to achieve something. But I think it's very important, this question, like when we plan, why we plan it, why do I set this task, what do I plan this meeting for? And I don't know, I think we need an article or a
We
meeting.
can have a different conversation.
Yeah, because it's super important. Like,
ask yourself 5 whys, right? 5
yeah,
times
and
whys.
when you plan that one-on-one, why do you do it? Why do you set it in your calendar? What is
Yes.
it clear?
If you just go to a meeting because you go, better don't go. Like if you are not getting anything and you are not contributing, yeah, we are used to do tasks that are actually not inside our goals. We just do them for different reasons. That is why to explore.
Yeah,
because I want to look good, or because
or because it's the way Agile says, have the daily, but are they effective? Yeah, we can go into
another way.
Let's not go into this rabbit hole. All right,
Okay.
so thank you, ladies, for this insightful conversation. I hope you all watching us find it interesting and find out new tips and tricks for how to organize your task and how to win more than 24 hours a day. So thank you for watching, and write us how do you organize your tasks? Comment, right? How do you organize your task? What is that you deal with, right? What are your issues when you are organizing your task and doing your task? So let us know what are your thoughts. And thank you for watching us, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our LinkedIn channel. I'm not sure exactly how to say it.
Page.
LinkedIn all right. Page. And see you next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.